Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Lefebvre and it is already June, which means we are on to another birth month flower. The birth month flower for June is a rose as well as a honeysuckle. I've done plenty of roses in the past, so today we are painting a flower I have actually never painted before, and that is the honeysuckle. So let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, so today we are going to be painting Honeysuckle, which is June's birth month flower. I've never painted this flower before, so we're going to have to see how it goes. So it looks like it grows, I don't know if it's a bush or a tree, but like off some sort of branch. And then there's a bunch of little kind of petals going off, like 5 or 6, I think 5 petals. They look like lilies, sort of. They do come in different colors and they have these really long kind of stamens in the center. So I'm going to try and go a little bit more loose with this and just see how it goes. So I'm painting in my Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook today. I have my Shinhan watercolors. I have a size 8 and a size 2 round brush, and we can start. So I'm going to start by grabbing some yellow. I'm going to do a yellow one. And this flower is kind of like a trumpet shape. So it has like this long kind of trumpet base where it's like a point where we're going to have the green over here, and then it kind of comes out, and then the petals fall over to the sides and the front. So I'm just going to go around, and then obviously because this is like a side view here, you're not really going to see every petal, but we're keeping it loose so I'm not too worried. Then I'm just going to grab a little bit of red or like an orange and just tap it towards the center like that. Okay, we will do a little bit more detail and stuff after. So that's one view of it. Then we're going to do another one that's maybe like a more open view. So you'll see all 5 petals. So they're longer. So imagine the center's here. Okay. So we have a petal like this. Petal like this. They're like kind of long leaf petally shapes. We could have one like curving down. One kind of curving in the front here. And then one maybe to the side, like so. Okay, then again, I'm going to grab a little bit of like that orange and just tap it towards the center. If you want a little bit more of like an orange bleed into it while it's still wet, you can do that. I don't know. Let's give that a try. Maybe do a little bit. Like I said, I've never painted this before, so we're just playing around and hoping for the best. Okay, so there's another one. Maybe I'll do another one kind of pointing to the side here. Another little trumpet shape. So it's like a kind of like a triangle, like a long triangle like this. And then you're going to have the petals kind of curving. So it's like heavy pressure and then light pressure to lift up to a point. And I'm not worrying too much about showing all of the petals since it's a side view. And then just a little tap there, maybe a little bit of orange, like so. I'm going to do one that's kind of like not really open yet. So I'm just going to have like these petals kind of curved together like that. And then just kind of have the branch kind of coming down this way. So I think I'm going to do one more. Let's do one that's kind of open here. So I'm just going to do like a little circle for that center, and then we're just going to do the 5 petals kind of going around. I'm really trying to give these petals a lot of movement. So having them curve and bend. And then should I do the base of that one? I don't know. Grab a little bit of orange, Then just add some to the petals like that. And maybe I'll do another couple ones that are just like closed here. Like that. Okay. Now I am going to take my green. So I'm taking my smaller brush, my size 2, maybe some more olivey green. And I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna grab a little bit of brown too, a little bit of burnt sienna in there. And I'm gonna do the stem that's kind of coming through like this, like that. Okay. Then I'm going to get some green. Maybe a bit of blue in that green. And then I'm going to start connecting little stems to the base of the flowers. So like this one where it's just like a little bud, and have some green kind of encasing the bottom there. This one, again, a little bit of green at the bottom, holding on to it. Like that. And then the same with this one. Like so. And then we need some leaves. I'm going to go back to my bigger brush, a little bit of olive green, a little bit of blue phthalo green, and I'm just going to start doing these leaves. I might even do some like coming behind some of these petals. A little bit more blue, I think, in there. Got to make sure that the petals are dry so that it doesn't bleed into the green or into the yellow. So I have some behind and front, just carefully drawing around those petals. And I'm just trying to carefully go around all these petals. Okay, so once you've done all the leaves that you want to, make sure everything is completely dry. Okay, now that it's dry, we're gonna do just like a little bit of extra shading and stuff. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of my yellow and some orange or like a little bit of red. And like for some of these ones that where you see the side view, I'm just gonna do like little lines kind of coming up, separating some of the center. I'm just making it a little bit dark. These little bud ones, I'm just gonna do some line work. Again, it doesn't have to be too like realistic or detailed. Do some lines in there. Or these ones, I'm just gonna do a couple more. I'm just using a really like light orange, my size 2, to get these fine detailed lines like that. Like that. Like that, and then just like a little bit more towards the center. A little bit darker. Maybe some thicker lines. Again, we're not doing anything crazy detailed, just loose like that. And then while we're waiting for those lines to dry before we do the center of those flowers, I'm going to take a little bit more of our green, maybe a darker green. And I'm just going to do little veins on these leaves. Like that. I might add a little bit more, like a reddish bit to the bottom of some of these in the center. Like that. Then I'm gonna grab my burnt sienna, a little bit of indigo to create kind of like a darkish reddish brown. And I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the center statement. So they have these like really tiny wispy lines that come out from the center, like that. Oops. It's hard to get the really nice, tiny, little detailed lines. When I'm trying to do detailed lines where I want them really nice and thin, it's best to use the smallest brush you have, but also to get those really tiny lines, which I went a little bit big here, which is fine. I try and put my brush more at like a 90-degree angle, anchor my hand down, and just use the smallest amount of pressure. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab a little bit more burnt sienna, and then I'm just gonna do little dots at the end of those lines. Now it's hard because the lines are not really supposed to be brown, but they're kind of more like a light white-ish color, but it's a little bit tricky to kind of get that to show up. So I would do the brown, and if you want to do the white, I would take a little bit of like white gouache or white ink, and then maybe you could even go like right beside it. So you have that light and dark. Might make it stand out a bit better. Just the parts that are like over the yellow or the green. Like that. You could even use the white to do the vein on the leaf. And honestly, this is about it. So I've never painted this flower before. It was kind of fun. It's always fun trying something new and seeing how it goes. But that is our June birth month flower, Honeysuckle. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.